Alrighty, season one, You and I See Different, episode two, with my friend, my homie, Kit. You already know. How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm here. I'm up early in the morning. I'm with the birds. Let's do it.
All right, good, good, good. Good morning to you and your family. You already know how it is. Well, I'll be completely honest with you. This episode is going to be about mind. Last episode we spoke about mind, body, and spirit. So let's just get a little bit into that. Before we do that, I want a little bit of a background on my friend right here. This is my guy. Call him every single day, every other day. It's like one of those people that once you automatically, like, let's say that he was my coworker at my dealership job. I told you guys last episode about my dealership job, made me grow as an individual. Also, he actually he's one of the persons that I got hired with. So during this whole span, it was more like, we're entering a world of wolves, right? We are entering world of wolves. What you think, man?
Yeah, it's definitely competitive, and you got to be able to recreate the success every month. It's not like a one-time thing. You did good and it's over. No, you did good last month. Who cares? It's a new month. We're in October, and then November comes. So this is something that you got to keep doing. So it definitely makes you understand consistency.
Okay. Yeah, of course. And then to my understandings and everybody here, it's my guy. He works at Off Lease Orlando. So if you guys need a car, hit this man up, man. Just walk in, ask for Kit. He'll definitely be able to assist you. I have a lot of fans here in Orlando, and a lot of friends and family and whatever the case may be. So he can hook you up. It's actually very different dealership. It's a place that you go, the car is the price is the price, no negotiating, whatever, whatever, whatever. We're not giving them promo. We're talking about us here. Forget that. So, but other than that, I definitely agree with him when it comes to competitiveness. You're coming into a world where we're talking about people that been here for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even 2 years. That's still a lot. You have a lot of customers that come into a dealership, so you gain experience real quick, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think?
I wouldn't say you gain the experience real quick, but I would say you have to adjust right away
Okay.
because you're dealing with so many different personalities. I mean, from your coworkers to the customers, and you just gotta adjust it. You gotta remember you're selling something, so you always gotta keep in your mind, okay, why should this person give me their money?
Right. Of course, and that's like number one in sales. Of course, you're trying to not also just get the money, but also please that person, because when somebody buys a car, it's not the same thing as going to Walmart or buying a TV, right? A TV is like a personal thing that you're just gonna go ahead and watch some TV. That's it. But if you buy a car, you're like, dang, I need these rims to look nice. I need the paint to look amazing. It's gonna take me from A to B. Like, I can't have this breaking down on me. You know what I'm saying? TV, you just throw it away or
Hmm.
donate it or whatever the case may be. You're worried about if it has Netflix or something. No, you're worried about in a car if it has, four tires out of the same. But honestly, it's more of an emotional attachment, I'd say. Sometimes people remember when they were trading in vehicles, they didn't even want to trade it in because I've been with it for 5 years, and I feel bad. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
I could keep it G with you.
Always.
Doing that type of work, it actually made me easier to sell. You know,
Yeah.
now, and when I say easier to sell, I mean for a person to sell me. I'm not a hard person to sell. Basically, once you could show me why I should give you my money, and you treat me good, basically you got it. And me, I don't over shop. Some people, they want to go to every place in the area and compare all the prices and do all that, but I don't do it because it just confuses you. Life to me is right and wrong. So you have the right choice, you have the wrong choice, and then the third choice is just a distraction. So there's no more than three options to me.
Oh, okay.
You know
So
what I'm saying? So once you get the distraction out of the way, let's say, for example, you got you got uh infinity
mhm.
money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you do like the BMW 7 Series. And a good comparison to an Infinity is like a Hyundai Genesis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got Hyundai Genesis Infinity money. That's option A and B. But the distraction is the more expensive BMW.
Right.
You're going to look at the BMW. You might even drive it just to, you know, I like to call it busting a mental nut. You know what I'm saying? But after that,
Okay.
you're back to reality. Like, all right, well, I done bust that nut, but this ain't for me. Let me go on head back to what I'm used to and what I can afford. So once we get that out the way, we know we got A and B. And that just make your life easy. All
So
my listeners out there, keep it easy for yourself. Three choices, one of the choices ain't even a choice. So you got two.
okay, so essentially what you're saying is if you can't afford it, don't look at it. Pretty much is what you're saying because if you don't got
No,
what? If you're saying that if you don't got it sounds like, no infinity, you're looking at an infinity, don't come look at, the BMW. Let's just stay on track here, right? Or no?
no, not really. Because hey man, sometimes you gotta look in the clouds, man. Sometimes you gotta get some wind against your back. You may can't afford it right now. Yeah, come sit in it.
Mm,
Come sit in it. Come smell it, man. Come taste it. Visualize yourself in it. Because right now you got the infinity money before you know it. You'll have the BMW money or whatever else you desire.
okay.
And you may think that's something that you want, but after you come smell it and you touch it, you may say, hey man, I'm more of a Mercedes person. So
I,
when I get that bag, I'm changing my mind. I'm finna do a mistake. You could try it out, but just don't play yourself.
okay. So just keep it real with your own self, pretty much is what you're telling me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely.
Okay, cool, cool. So that's definitely a sales world, and I feel like that's really G because a lot of people just try to sell you just to sell you so they can make a commission check. Honestly, it sounds like you are real with the people, and of course, I know that you're real with the people because you're real with me. So if you're real with me, then you're real with everybody else. So I appreciate that, and that's definitely a different perspective. But
I got something for you,
go ahead.
not to cut you off.
Nah, go ahead.
Do you know sometimes being real is the fakest thing you could do?
Why you say that? Why you say
I
that?
had a I had a I had a friend that told me that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really understand what he meant by that. It seems sideways to me.
Mm,
Because they even know me for keeping it G, keeping it 1,000. And he looked me in my eyes and he said, "Man, you know what, bro? Sometimes being real is the fakest thing you could do." And he never explained it. But over the years, as I've grown and I've been through different situations with family and children and friends and businesses. Sometimes keeping it real is the fakest thing you could do. Sometimes you got to put on that mask so you could survive and make the best out of that situation. You know, you may not like your dad or your mom or what they're doing or what choices they make, but at that time, because the position they play in your life, you may have to smile and pretend just to preserve a relationship. You know what I'm
and
saying?
I 100% understand what you're saying, and I'll give you a quick analogy of what I think that is. If you guys ever seen Batman, and if you don't know who Batman is, then I think you should just fall off the face of the universe. But um, there's an analogy that I want to go over, and it actually explains exactly what you're talking about because in one movie, and this is Christopher Nolan is the director, and I think is the Dark Knight or either Batman Begins, either one of those two movies. And Christian Bale is actually the Batman, which is by far the best Batman I've ever seen. Um, my point is that in one of the movies he says sometimes we wear a mask, but underneath this mask, I'm the most unhappiest person ever. Now, this guy, this fictional character, of course, is a billionaire. You know, he's the owner of Wayne Enterprises, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he had all the fly shit, all
He
the guns and gadgets, and
all the gadgets, all the everything. So he's putting on this mask as a um as a hero or whatever, this or as a superhero, but underneath he can't live his regular life because he's so addicted to having that mask on that he's not even able to be happy because he's afraid of showing his true colors. And the point is that, like you were saying, you wear a mask to be somebody sometimes, to blend into society, right? And sometimes we're smiling, but at the in the innermost of us, I feel like, you know, you're still thinking about how I'm gonna get eggs for the morning, or how I'm gonna get milk or water, or you know what I mean? I have to pay
this
this
motherfucker
light bill.
said eggs for the morning. You still live in Puerto Rico, G?
You know what I'm saying? It's no, but it's real. It's real. Like you wanna, it's real. You know, sometimes a lot of people walk around with a smile on their face, but at the end of the day, they have nobody to talk to, nobody to have real
Yeah,
conversations with, and it's sad because you know what they lean
that is.
to? They lean to social media, and that's you know, my last episode, I was a little bit of bias when it comes to social media. Like I wasn't on their side favorable. The reason why is because, and I know you listened to the first episode, and the reason was because like I feel like it's not that it's fake, you know, but it's not real either. Now, the reason why I say that is because people only post their most happiest moments. You'll never see somebody make a post of, you know, them crying or, you know,
They do it.
well,
They do it.
there's
They do it. They do it.
there's people
But it's
that do
all
it.
for the same thing.
It's all,
Whether they're happy or they're crying, it's for the same thing. It's for the attention.
it's for the attention. You're right. You're right. But you know, I don't know the statistics on it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we can't pair like who posts and what posts and whatever the case may be. But what I can say is past experience. It actually makes sense that you know, sometimes social media is not the way to go. It's the way to go is what we were taught when we were kids. When we were kids, if I'm not mistaken, you said, you know, your parents would be like, get your ass outside, man. Go play with your cousins or your friends or something. Go ride your bike. You know, now it's like, yo, go grab that tablet and go upstairs, watch some movies or something. Like, where's the interaction? You know what I'm saying? And that being said, we're gonna go ahead and take a 2-second break, bro. All right.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I got sidetracked. I got some kids around here. I had to tell them, hey man,
All right. So what we were talking about, we're back here from break. With we got Kitt on the line. You know, my best friend out here. Like I said, we were talking about actually how social media distracts people and doesn't allow them um, to communicate, to have one-on-ones with people. I mean, that's just a whole different topic. Like if you think about it, have you ever been out, Kit, with your lady, and you actually see a couple just eating, and they're eating but they're not even staring at each other, they're just looking at their phones? Have you seen that out there?
yeah, yeah, I've seen that. I see it a lot. And then you know what? I've noticed that behavior since a young age because it wasn't always phones. I guess humans we always find ways to
It's an
distract ourselves
like an evolution.
uh from places that we don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? Or that we have no interest in. So back in the day before the phones, I was a young kid. I used to see the old people, they'll be in Denny's or Waffle House and they're eating and the husband's reading the fucking newspaper, dog. And then the wife, she's playing
Sudoku, Ben?
Scrabble or whatever the fuck, whatever, whatever in the book. She's doing a word search, and I'm like, damn, y'all out eating breakfast. Now's the time to really be communicating, and
Right.
and yeah. So I guess it's been going on, but it's just more evident now.
Okay. So I mean, I guess we can also like think like how how to even change that. Like I was saying last episode, it was like I feel like sometimes we just gotta put the phones in a bucket in the middle, and just or leave them at home, or leave them in your purse, leave them in your pocket, because I don't know, man. I feel like we're supposed to have communications. I mean, we're brought here to speak to each other, not to stare at our phone. You know what I mean? I feel like the purpose on earth for a human being is to interact with other human beings, not to interact with your phone, right? And not just type and yeah, I'm gonna hit her up in the DM, or hit him up in the DM, for all of the ladies that are listening. And it's true, like I feel like a lot of people focus on the wrong thing. But other than that, that's pretty much like what I think about social media. I feel like it's definitely not an essential thing. It's not something that we need. It's just like a hobby. It should be just like a hobby. Not even, it should be just like a social media platform, pretty much. I mean,
Um,
I feel like we transformed it into life platform. You know what I mean?
Not to cut you off, there's a rapper named Coley P. Shout out Coley P. Broward County. He says the real the new fake, and the lame is the new cool. And I feel like I've been stuck in that, man, for the last, I could say, shit. We're in 2020. I could say I've been stuck in that for like the last past.
Repeat that again. The real is the new fake.
The real the new fake, and the lame the new cool. Coley P, yeah. Real the new fake, lame is the new cool. It's just like everything is backwards.
Right.
What used to be cool ain't cool no more.
Right.
And what used to be fake ain't fake no more. It's like if you go to highlight a female, right? Just you approaching her and asking her her name and asking her her phone number, you're automatically lame, because that's not the way that men talk to women anymore.
Right.
It just like you were saying earlier on the first segment. They have to like a picture before, or they have to be impressed before. There's
Mhm.
no mystery in anything no more.
Right. Because you can see everything, and then it's kind of like this person before you even meet them.
Okay, so it's just everything is, and my lady, she loves social media. She
Watch out what you say now.
she has a business. No, I ain't gonna get myself in trouble.
Okay. All
Yeah, she
right.
has a business that revolves around social media. So I'm in it. I live it. I see it every day. How social media could run every aspect of somebody's well-being. And man, if you don't know how to disconnect, man, you could lose a lot of things, man. You could lose touch with your children, touch with your relationships, lose touch with your family, because you're not really paying attention in the moments where it really count.
Right. And that's a good thing, because remember, the show is called You and I See Different. So I like that we're actually seeing what he sees from his eyes, right? And his thought process, which when I say his, I'm talking about Kit. Um and it's pretty interesting how we all see different things different ways, in the sense of different experiences, of course. And that's honestly what I think that life should be about, right? It should be about being able to interact with somebody, to be able to understand what they are talking about, um what their thought process is, and see their different experiences, man, because you can definitely learn from experiences, right? So I mean, I hope that you learn from experiences. There's a lot of people that don't, but that's just different rare cases. But my point is that um i want to touch this very simple but complex subject, and it's talking about mind, right? So what has been one of your most mental breakdown experiences It doesn't mean that you had a breakdown like crying and you didn't know what to do. Tell me something that you said, you know what? This shit is real. Like the life that I'm living right now, I need to I need to be me and I need to get my stuff done, get my stuff in order. Like, I, did you go to school? I mean, tell the people like what who like what was the most mental thing that brought you to pretty much grow, you know? Like for example, and myself, like I was saying last episode, that transition of being kind of like bullied for not knowing the language and of Spanish and not being considered a Puerto Rican even though my family was Puerto Rican. It was really tough. It was a mental like thing that I had to overcome, that it was like it was years in the process. It's not like, you know, verbal, I wouldn't say abuse, but it kind of is like, it really, it's patronizing.
Hey man, I could relate too because hey, my mom's from Jamaica, my dad's from Haiti, and
Right.
when I get around Haitians and I got my extended family
Patois.
is Haitian as well. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm not as fluent in Creole as others, they'll tell me, "Oh, you're not Haitian," or you're American, but it's they try to justify why you're not a part of them when really people don't understand where you're born is not where you're from. You
Right.
know, people think because you were born a certain place, you're from there. I'm born in Miami, Florida, Dade County, but guess what? You drop me off on Dixie Highway in Miami. I don't know where the fuck I'm at.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
You drop me off in Orlando. You drop me off on Oak Ridge. You drop me off in Richmond Heights. You drop me off in Pine Hills. You drop me off in on the East Side. You drop me off in Kissimmee. I know my way. Why? Because I'm from Orlando. I went to every school on Oak Ridge Road.
Right.
So where are you really from?
Well, I guess wherever your heart desires to be from.
Okay, or wherever you have the most experiences, and it ain't about where you been, man. It's where you at, man.
All right. Yeah, no, that's definitely a way to look at it as well. And I feel like that can be a a plus to many people. Definitely a lot of people, move out of their countries or out of their states or out of their cities because of X, Y, and Z reasons. Doesn't mean that where you're from, you know, you can't take that with you. But my point is that tell me, tell me something that talk to me about, man. Talk to me about something, man. Talk to me about, I know you have, not to put anything out there, but I know you have a family. So I'm not even gonna say how many or whatever the case may be, kids
Man,
or
I got a whole bunch of baby mamas. Goddamn, I got about six. I'm looking for one more, seven.
hey
That's the
man.
lucky. No, I'm playing. All right, I only got two kids. I got two boys. The question that you asked me before, we got sidetracked a little bit. Was
Right.
what was a,
What's the most
a
mental,
real life?
right, a real life experience that you went through that mentally had you um thinking, that
I had to
mentally made you
say,
grow.
I had to say it's when I had my first kid. Um,
Now,
last thing I remember, it was prom night. I'm chilling. I'm dancing. I'm with a pretty young lady, and you do what you do on prom, hotels and rental cars, and next thing you know, somebody was pregnant. You feel me? So 19, she's giving birth to this kid. I'm fresh out of high school, so I didn't even really get the taste of the freedom of being a grown up. You know what I'm saying?
of course.
Without attachments.
Of course.
As soon as I became a grown up, 18, that's how old you got to be in the US to be classified as an adult. I had responsibilities, and I tried to go to Valencia. In the meantime, I was working at night. I worked in a machine shop. We used to have contracts for Lockheed Martin, and we'll make all type of little shit for Lockheed. And I'll do that at night from like fucking 10 to 7 a.m. Then I'll come home to the apartment that me and her had, and I'll lay down for like an hour, and then wake up, and then try to go to school. And you know, I had to drop out. I couldn't keep up with it. And that's when I really realized that, man, it's on me to make the right decisions to get to where I need to be for me and my family. And then you're dealing with a young woman. She's your age. You're going to school. She's sitting at the house pregnant. So low key, you don't think she's jealous
Right.
because her freedom was taken away from her too, not just me.
Right. And I'm pretty sure she's seen all her friends do a couple things, and you can't do that much cuz you're pregnant. It's a lot different, right? And
Hmm.
and it's crazy because there's a lot of people out there, and as we get older, I'm 25 like I said in the first episode, and once you get older, you start seeing a lot more people, you know, getting pregnant, or a lot more ladies, better said, getting pregnant, or young girls, or 18 and up, of course. And even 16 sometimes. I don't know. I'm not we're not going to go
My
into that.
G, they doing it young, bruh. They
Yeah.
doing it 14, 15.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that could be like something that's wrong. But my point is not going into, legal or whatever things, but we're trying to go into the experience of being able to survive. Now you're young, you're 18 years old, fresh out of high school with the pregnant girl, and you have your son, right? And what did you like? How were you able to even come up? Like, how did you? Because
The way I did it, because I always had my dad in my life. Shouts out to my pops. You know, hey, he's not a perfect dad. Everything he did right, and I'll be a liar. But one thing is, man, I never went hungry. You know what I'm saying? I always had lights, and guess what? I could even get a new pair of Air Forces from time to time. So the
okay,
so the nigga did all right. You know what I'm saying?
right,
He did okay. So that's what played in my mind. Like, hey, man, my pops was around, and he wasn't beating me to death or treating me any type of way. So let me give what I could give to my kids to do everything in my power. So if that means I have to shovel shit, hey, we shoveling shit today. If that means I'm a boss today, hey, I'm a boss today. That is just whatever role I had to play to get through. And what really made me wake up is, man, I would work. I was making $10 an hour. I would work the whole week. You know what I'm saying? I'll get my check. It was 400 and some change. After tax, you down to like 325. All right, you got your little rent to pay. Your lady's pregnant. She may want to eat wings that night. You know what I'm saying?
or
So you
some Baskin Robbins.
you trying to do whatever. And when you look down, dog, you got $50 left for the week. You just got paid on Friday. It's Sunday night. You about to go back to work on Monday morning. Oh well, Monday night, and you got $50, and you ain't even put gas in your car yet. I said, damn, man, this ain't enough money. And that's when other doors was opened up because I had a few friends. Like I said, I'm from Orlando. I'm born in Miami. That's cool, but I'm from Orlando. So you know people, man. I see a few friends of mine. They living like young princes, man, and they doing certain things. And hey, we dibbled and dabbled and was able to elevate from that point. So that's how I was able to come up and get a leg up. It damn sure wasn't going to be working from 10 to 7 a.m. making $10 an hour. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to just sacrifice yourself, man, and know what you're sacrificing for. That's why I'm still out here because I always could differentiate from real and fake and why I'm doing something and why I'm not doing something. So for all y'all boys out there, y'all taking chances, man. Y'all not doing it for the next dude to say, damn, he's stunting, damn, he got that. And you're not doing it for a woman to say, damn, he fine, damn, he. If you got kids, you doing it for your kids, man. If you got a lady at home, she's standing strong behind you. You know where she at. When you call, she pick up. You doing it for her, and most of all, you doing it for yourself.
Right. And you know what? I'll go ahead and that's very real right there, and I appreciate you sharing that because it's like a lot of people don't know what to think when it comes to, damn, I got her pregnant, or damn, I'm pregnant if I'm a female, right? And you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. And I feel like, I'm not a parent. I'm not a parent, but what my experience is seeing parents like yourself, you're always trying to do the best for your kids, right? There's a lot of people that that get nervous. There's a lot of people that give up. There's a lot of people that are not built for parenting, and that's just a real fact. Um, but I feel like if you bring somebody into this world, even if it's a mistake, if you want to call it a mistake, even if it's, intentional, you know, either way it is, I feel like you should always take care of that person, um, until they're able to ride alone, right? But my point is that, um, I feel like that's an amazing story, and the crazy thing that made me grow mentally was actually, you know what I felt like it was? I feel like it was the trend, not the transition from the island to here, but I feel like it was being here more. You get to a new place, you don't know nobody, right? So being able to overcome that was, in my mind, great. And you know what's actually great as well? When you start seeing your potential, your full potential, in the sense of like,
Hmm.
even if it's in a work scenario, or
You know your strength and your weakness.
right, you know what you need to do, you know why you're here. Like, you
Mhm.
know what you can, like, for example, you can't, me and you, we never sold houses before. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never sold a house before. Like, what makes me, like, if I've been in the industry of selling cars before, what makes me, or actually not even selling houses, let's not go there. Let's say, like, I don't know, engine, mechanicking, on a BMW. Like there's no way that you can, there is a way, it's possible that you can go from there to there, to tit tat to tit tat, but it's going to take you some time. My point is that that made me grow in the sense of going from, American Eagle, from the fast food businesses, from making $10 an hour to then making, X and Y amount of money a month. And I feel like that made me grow. And then, with bigger responsibilities. And when I say responsibilities in your sense, it's like more of, children, house, you got mortgage, light, whatever, water, bills, pretty much. Let's just keep it at bills. Once you start getting a lot of bills and you see that, and you're like, yo, have you ever heard that saying, of course, when somebody's like, I wish I could have stayed young. I wish I could have be a kid again. I wish I could go back and be in high school again. Have you ever heard that
Mhm.
before? That's because I feel like they're like scared of their responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, shit is getting real right now, so I need to be able to keep up with it. And sometimes people get, nervous, like I said, but I don't know, I feel like
You
that was my mental
you
growth.
know what it is? Because as an adult, bro, being an adult is not really fun if you really look at it. I mean, the only time you're having fun as an adult is either when you're intoxicated, whatever your choice is, whatever you smoke, if it's crack or your choice,
Chill,
you know,
chill.
it's either when you're intoxicated or you're enjoying yourself sexually. For me, for the most part. Other than that, ain't nothing else fun. Or you spending time with your children and you seeing them smile. So other than that, everything else is just shit that you just have to do. You think I'm having fun when I wake up and I have to go to work? And no, I'm not, and I guess that's why it's important to find a passion. But ain't much fun. That's why people always say, man, I wish I was a kid, or I rushed to be an adult and now I'm here and it sucks. So
Yeah.
definitely all the kids out there, y'all take y'all time, man. This shit ain't fun at all.
So pretty much prepare yourself to become an adult. And I feel like when we're in high school, and there's this program in high school here in Florida. um it's called dual enrollment. I really
Yeah,
suggest all these kids take dual enrollment, man.
enrollment. Yeah, that
Because
is a good thing.
this is like one of the most exceptional, amazing things I've ever heard of, to be able to take college courses for free and then graduate from college in 2 years and have a bachelor's degree. Like, I feel like, not to say anything, well, not to, my point is that take advantage of the resources that you have, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to assist you to become who you really going to be. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that.
Of course not. Of course not. Why? You want to know why they don't? They don't take advantage of the resources because when they fuck up or when they fail, it's easier to blame it on what they didn't have. Oh, I ain't have a mom. I didn't have a this. I didn't have a that. But you did have this, and you did have that. So people don't look at what they did have. They look at what they didn't have.
Right.
You know.
And that's a
So let's
very important point that you come across when you say that. Like a lot of people, we are designed to fail. People, like, if you think that you're just going to be born and be successful, you're wrong. You're an
no
idiot.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to understand that you're going to fail. Don't
Mm,
get depressed. Don't get sad. Talking about, yeah, my life is worth nothing. No, 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 no. Your life is worth so much more than what you think it is, because you are destined to fail, but you're destined at the end of the failure to always come back up. I mean, there's a saying for a reason. I fall
and
20 times and
there's
come.
beauty in failure. Sorry to cut you off.
Go
There's
ahead.
beauty in failure. Finish the saying though, so
Go
I could
ahead,
take
go
that.
ahead. So it's like you
Yeah.
you fall 20 times, you get back up. You know, you fall again, you come back up. And it's really about like is really like
Being
that.
that dishwasher, you know what I'm saying, making $9 an hour, and then when you look up, you own your own company, and you're paying people more than $9 an hour because
Right.
you know what is like making that.
You breaking up. You're breaking up, boss man. Alrighty. So what he's trying to say is technically, you could be the dishwasher, and then one day you can definitely go ahead and be the owner of the store. And it's crazy because you can actually go ahead and you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead.
You broke up a little bit.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying, man.
Broke up a little bit.
All right, hold on, hold on. All right, my bad. We had technical difficulties, but we're back now. So he was technically saying that you could start off as a dishwasher. Go ahead, man. Finish what you were saying, man. You could start
Hey, you
off.
seen Scarface? You know, well, don't be like Scarface because he died. Well, we all gonna die, but don't die like that. But the story, you know, you start off low, man, and you come up high, and you try not to cross nobody. In the meantime, you know, there's gonna be people that's not gonna like you for certain moves that you made to get to your success. You know, because if you want to be successful, you got to protect yourself. And that's from everybody, from your wife, your mama, your daddy. You got to protect yourself. You can't just be giving everything and signing everything. And nah, you ain't never going to make it like that. You see what I'm saying? You
Right.
got to protect yourself. And people don't like when you protect yourself, you know, but hey,
Of
you
course.
do that and you'll get there.
Right, right. And I feel like a really big example when it comes to that are actually all these major athletes that go through, that come from places that they're not supposed to even be in places like this. For example, shout out to LA Lakers. They just won the NBA championship yesterday. LeBron James got his fourth ring. Not sponsored or anything by the NBA out here, but I'll take a check though. I'll take a check if you guys want to sponsor me. You know what I'm saying? But my point is that he always says and as a childhood hero, idol, whatever, um, he always says, "I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm just a young kid from Akron, Ohio." He always says that, and the point that he's saying, the reason why he says that, in my opinion, is because he really came from some stuff. He came from no parent, no father, only a mother figure. He says it all the time. But look at him now. You know what I'm saying? As a guy that blesses a lot of people, has his own school in Akron, Ohio. It's the I Promise school. He puts a lot of kids through school so they can come out and be something with themselves. He gives them unlimited resources. The man is just amazing. My point is that he that we can all be this way. We can all be this way. We can all come from nothing and be somebody's, be something. But like Kit was saying earlier, don't ever just look at the wrongs and what I did wrong and what I didn't have, and is really not it's not, you're not supposed to blame anybody. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to blame your parents. You're not supposed to blame, I only had a house with one room. It's not about that. It's about, you had a house with one room, but what you can turn that house into after is actually
Exactly.
what I think is the best outcome. You can always have that positive mindset. If you choose to have a negative mindset, you're just choosing to have a negative mindset. It's a choice. We have
And
choices out here. Go ahead.
and there's a lot of people like that, man. And negative mindsets come in so many ways and shape and form.
Right.
You would be amazed, because me, since I was a kid, I always, when I speak, I really don't talk about bullshit, really, for the most
Right.
part. At least I don't think so. You're never
No,
really gonna hear me talk about like um
you be talking about some bullshit all the day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
like,
You're
for
talking
example,
about some real stuff all the time, is what you're trying to say.
all the time, man. If I open my mouth, it's real spit. It's something that you could take home with you. And some people don't like that.
Oh, no, 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 no. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You just that is just a point that is amazing, because people don't like to hear the truth or to hear real stuff, because they're fantasizing all the time, in my
People don't
opinion.
like that, man. Especially people in our age group, they don't like it. I remember, like, when I was in high school, I had a group of friends, and I used to talk. I always used to be like, man, hey, you have to have morals, things that you won't do. And they'll look at me funny, like, motherfucker, what is morals? What's principle? What are you talking about? And they would laugh at me.
Hmm.
I'll go to start talking, and you see people giggling, like they're giggling, like they had a conversation about the shit I be talking. Like, what the fuck is he?
But it sounds like you were hanging around older people.
You you, you know, you never know. I just can't explain it.
Right.
People just, you gotta hang around like-minded people, man. They don't gotta do the same thing as you. They don't
Right.
gotta always be on the same level as you, but hang around like-minded people.
And they don't even have to have the same opinion as you. You
No,
know,
they don't.
they don't have the same, but you're saying stay on, like, the mindset. That's what you're saying. Hang around people with the same mindset.
Hmm.
Don't.
That's what made me stop smoking weed, man. When I was a teenager, I used to smoke so much weed. That was the thing. You smoke weed before school. You smoke weed when you get out of school. You might
Mm.
skip for lunch, smoke a blunt, come back. And that's why now, in my late 20s, you know what I'm saying? I really don't care for doing it, because I did it so much when I was a teenager, and I see what type of people it brought around me. Not saying that the people are bad that smoke weed. No, weed is a wonderful thing. But what it is,
Mm.
weed brings people together. And sometimes the people that you come together with are not people you need to be around.
That's true. And that comes with anything else, not just, marijuana in this case. It could come with alcohol,
Alcohol, yes,
anything. It could come with boring conversations. It could come
exactly.
with people that have a mindset that don't want to be wealthy, don't want to have houses, don't want to have something to look forward to. It could come with any single thing, not just, weed. But I mean, keep going with the point.
Yeah. So the point is basically, man, is watch who you're around, monitor yourself. And when it comes to people, they think you have to know someone for 15 years to know who they are. Nah, man, you learn a person in the first 10 minutes, because
And
they're going to tell you who they are.
that's a fact right there. That's a fact, people.
They're going to tell you who they are. Just like, to go back to us being salesmen, you don't got to convince nobody to do nothing. They're going to tell you how to sell them. They're going to come in and say, hey, I want an SUV, has to be 3 rows, I like 20-inch rims, needs to be black.
Point blank.
Point blank, you just told me
What your
what
taste
you
is.
what you want. Now, if I could find something that's close to that, it may not be that. But if I could find something close, this probably is green SUV, and hey, you could live without the 20-inch rim, so you took it, and you decided, hey, I don't really need third row. I don't want no more kids, you know.
Right.
But for the most part, you gave me a guideline to what you want, and that's people, man. You learn them first 10, 15 minutes of just talking. They're gonna tell you.
Right. And that's a great point that you bring up, because when you approach somebody and you're trying to meet that person, and you just try and be nice, just
Mhm.
but be you at the same time. Be nice, be you, and just enjoy that person, and that's it. You know what I mean? You don't have to try and impress anybody with
No.
fancy gadgets or whatever you have, and my bank account has this. And it's not about that, man. It's about having the mental connection, the emotional connection, and
Hmm.
pretty
And,
much.
and y'all better get used to hiding some of them fancy things too, cause your baby mama watching, motherfucker. She want her child support. Keep playing.
Yeah, exactly, that too. And you know what? You know what? um we covered a lot of things. We covered a lot of things. It was a nice conversation. Definitely, love go out to you and your family, especially you,
Thank
my
you, thank
brother.
you. Bless
You
you
know what
too.
I'm saying? It is right now 11 a.m. on a Monday morning, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day, bro. You already know how it is. You'll be definitely a guest again. I don't know if you want to have more than one guest. We could do that. Have you on here,
Hey man,
and
you done inspired me, man. Pretty soon I'm gonna drop one of these, man. You
yeah,
see, inspiration.
yeah, man. I mean,
That's the type of people you surround yourself
of
around.
course, of
They do
course.
new things, they open your eyes, and they show you what you could be if you went this way or tried this or explored that. And much love to you and yours as well, man.
I appreciate that, brother. I'll definitely be talking to you, and you already know how it is. I hope you have a fantastic day, people. I hope you guys have a good day. Like I said, this is my friend Kitt. I've known him for more than 3 years now. So if you guys want to be on the show, you already know. Just hit me up on Instagram, Julian_Luciano11. Or if you guys have Anchor or Spotify, Apple Podcast, my bad, Google Podcasts, I think it's called Podcast or something like that. You guys could definitely listen to the episode. You guys have a good day, bro. Have a good day. I'll definitely be talking to you. All right.
All right, later.
Yeah, man.